How's it going, everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of the Ready Game Fire podcast. What?
Don't look at me and do that.
I am your host, Chris Fox, and with me today are... This Ready Game Fire newbie is 50% English, 50% Japanese, and 100% amazing. It's Laurence Hart.
Konnichiwa.
Or we'll be calling you Loz, though, won't we? Because that's what we call you.
Yep, that's it.
Are you excited to be here?
Yep, very excited.
That's debatable.
Well,
need reference to that.
That's Loz's catchphrase.
He has many.
And his feature.
Well, maybe.
Or not.
Fun drinking game?
That's debatable. Well, every time he says it, people
Yeah,
go,
every time he says it.
hey, and take a shot.
Loz doesn't like this. Oh, doesn't look impressed by this.
It's a bad start.
I'll tell you what else Loz doesn't like. Hamburgers after his Hawaiian holiday.
No,
That's what he's been complaining about.
This, yeah.
So, he says today, oh, I'm so sick of hamburgers after my trip to Hawaii. I had too many of them on the beach. Being served by coconut bikini waitresses.
He's paraphrasing.
Well, you're in Hawaii. I mean, that's what...
it's debatable, that's for sure.
Quick drink.
He may look like hell, but he's sent from the heavens. Get ready, everybody. It's the return of Chris Evans.
Konnichiwa.
You're not half Japanese.
Oh, okay.
What's yes in Japanese?
Hi.
No, what's yes in Japanese?
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
I
Don't get started on my definition.
Me so sorry.
God, no.
Oh. And topping off this already delicious audio cake, it's your friend and mine, Stephen Edwards. Hello, Steve.
You know what I mean?
Today we're going to be talking about endings, namely endings that disappoint people after coming off this ridiculous Mass Effect ending aftermath. We are going to be discussing the ins and outs and the good endings and the bad endings of games past and present.
Will you be the death of me?
Trials Evolution, we've been playing a lot of that, haven't we? Because it was released into the wild last Wednesday. And we've just been playing some excellent simultaneous 4-player Supercross mode.
Yeah.
Is everybody loving Trials as much as me?
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've had about 20 minutes of it so far. It was
Best
good.
20 minutes of
It
your
was
life, then.
brilliant. Well,
Bit of a natural, weren't you?
it was like, yeah, well, naturally, yeah, I was. Yeah, no, I've just have the natural talent of aiming the right direction when I'm about to land. That's all it is. That's all it is.
There's a bit
I've
more
simplified.
to
No,
it than
no.
that.
You see, this is it. I've simplified the game to just knowing the angle I
So
need
where
to
we
land
going
at,
now?
and bam, worked it out.
There's an
how
art to
play it.
bailing out as well.
Well, yeah, Chris got me a few times with the bows out. He knows the levels a bit better than I do. He knows when the endings are coming.
I did.
Endings.
Yeah, endings. Bailout endings.
Great ending.
I wrote a review for oxcgn.com and it's going up soon. But in it, I said that Trials should win Game of the Year outright because what other game has bailout finishes? None of them.
It's pretty good.
None of them.
That's a good argument. That's it, Game of the Year
That
decided.
is, it's quite apt for the episode of endings. The best ending might be
A bailout, yeah.
the bailout endings. They are amazing, especially when you get the horizontal angle right. It's just
Four men
genius.
ragdolling through the air.
It's so funny. Well, we had one race, didn't we? And myself, Chris, and Chris all messed up the ending, and then Loz bailed and was like 5 meters away from the line, and we had to watch you crawl over
bet
for
I didn't
about
know you could crawl.
about
It's-
2 minutes. You were slowly.
It's so good.
We watched him crawl off screen and then there was 2 minutes of, is he going to make it? Is he not going to make
What's
it?
happened?
We also had a look at the incredible track editor, or rather, we downloaded some user-generated tracks. They're amazing.
I don't even know where you'd begin making some of those.
Yeah, there's an FPS level, there's a 2D shooter level, there's table football, there's crazy platform games where you navigate like a giant ball, like in Super Monkey Ball or Mario Galaxy 2. It's so cool.
I've already seen, I was disappointed that the riding on top of a giant sphere from Trials HD wasn't in this game, but it's already on there. Someone's already made it.
Oh,
Yes! It kicks the shit out of Little Big Planet 2's level editor. as well.
Yeah. You told me you mentioned this to Mike Power. Incredulous.
It's true though.
It is.
Like I
Well,
said,
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't even.
but you know, Little Big
Been in
Planet
the
2, they
episode.
were like, yo, look at all this stuff you're going to be able to do, top-down racing, rhythm action games, blah, blah, blah. And Trials were like, we've got a new game coming out and there's an editor in it, that's all. Very humble, and they've just they've knocked it out of the
But
park.
all the Little Big Planet ones, like, you think, oh, they're clever, but they all still just play like a Little Big Planet version of it, not like an actual real game. Like, yeah, the FPS in Little Big Planet was hilarious.
It was more like a light gun game / an on-rail shooter. But yeah, the FPS game in this is you can move and look down your sight and wow. I mean, obviously it's not as it's no Resistance or, but
Yeah, well, I remember saying that to Mike. I was like, oh, it's not a good FPS, is it? He goes, what are you expecting it to be? And I'm like, oh, I've got Modern Warfare sitting next to Little Big Planet. Why would I play Little Big Planet's FPS?
that multiplayer is, there's not enough party game-esque type, really, really enjoyable local multiplayer these days, really, apart from FIFA, fighting games, and any other, because you don't even find split screen in a lot of games nowadays. So games like stuff like that. But I mean, so Trials is was giving you that kind of 4-player simultaneous racing fun that I think we've been sorely lacking recently.
Do you think you two will make any levels on it?
I'll give it a go at some point.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. If you're like Little Bit Planet, I'll give it a go. Think this is going to take 6 days to make something barely average, and then just give up. But,
Yeah, that's what happened. If it is like Little Big Planet, then it will be.
but it's nice to know there's people out there who will put in the days it takes to make these things.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you have a constant stream of...
reap the benefits.
I had a little look at the light editor because there's a pro
Yeah.
editor and a light editor, and the light one you just get the whole world map, and then you just kind of draw a line, and that's your course. It's cool. I loved Mashed. I don't know if I've mentioned it enough on this podcast, but the spiritual sequel came out, and it's called Wrecked, and I got it, and I've been pretty disappointed with it, and Trials has kind of saved me from the disappointment that is Wrecked. Like Wrecked, they've tried to add too many new features, too many new weapons. It's a bit crazy, and it's a bit buggy as well. But Trials has just once again quietly come in and stole the show.
It's got a nice combination of like the multiplayer looks a lot of fun, and I do like your sort of score attack games, like especially when it does it really well the way it shows your mates' scores.
Trials was apparently the most downloaded Xbox Live arcade title, and this is
Was it?
What, on
this
the-
bigger
on
and
day
better in
one,
every
is it?
way.
I'm sure it's already broken some kind of record
Yeah,
in
it
its
has.
first few days.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good, isn't it?
No doubt.
Very impressive. It could do with the patch. There are bugs in there.
Yeah, some of the user-generated tracks have caused crashes when I've been online playing them with friends. But you don't need to have everybody in your party to have downloaded the same track. I mean, only the host needs to have them, which I think is brilliant, because
Yeah,
I was
it's great.
worried about making sure that everybody had the same tracks when you went online, and obviously new tracks are getting uploaded daily, so it's really cool that only one person needs to have those
How
tracks.
big are the tracks to download?
Oh man,
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
a second.
This is the news.
Second-hand news. This is really like there's fuck all going on at the moment.
Don't forget the awesome announcement yesterday when Activision announced they're going to make an announcement.
Oh yes, I've got that in the news right here. Yes, new Call of Duty to be revealed on May the 1st.
Swish.
Brilliant.
Whew, I wish I had money down on that one.
It's that important these days.
And we think it's going to be Black Ops 2.
And
Don't we?
It's kind of
we're not the only
given
ones.
at this point.
Yeah, by we I mean everyone.
The world, yeah.
Yeah.
I read a thing about it. Apparently, it's called Project Eclipse, and everyone
Oh yeah,
freaked
yeah,
out that it's going to be something. But it turns out that it's just that the day that they always release Call of Duty there happens to be an eclipse.
Right. Next time on the news, happy 30th birthday to the ZX Spectrum. I was a BBC Micro guy myself. Next on the news, God, there's been no news. Kirby Anthology coming to Wii this year for Kirby's 20th anniversary.
Dear.
Yeah.
Really? That
Yeah.
is the news.
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah, Harley Quinn's Revenge has been announced for Batman Arkham City Game of the Year edition. It doesn't actually say here whether it's coming out as a separate DLC, although I'm sure we can assume that that will
has
be the
to be,
case.
surely.
The Harley Quinn's Revenge mission sends players back into Arkham City to face their final challenge as they interchange between playing as both Batman and Robin. Gamers must utilize each of the characters' unique combat and investigation skills to uncover Harley's vengeful plan to shut the gates on the urban mega prison forever. In addition to experiencing a new storyline, fans can explore new environments and face off against Harley's all-new gang of thugs.
When I say investigative skills, presumably Robin's are. It's Batman. There's a thing. Look.
Yeah. Robin's good at riddle solving, though. That's always his strength in the 60s TV series.
Yeah, a new God of War was announced. We can talk about that. God of War Ascension, which is a prequel. I chatted about this on the IGN UK podcast, but we'll go for it now. Sure. Sure. Yeah, it's a prequel. It's before the events of God of War and before the rage consumed him. So maybe a lot of people are hoping it'll be more of a character study, a character piece.
Well, this is I was chatting to Mac about it. It's like, does that mean you have to woo his lady?
Yeah, say a love story.
Yeah, get a bit of love in there. Like maybe the start of the game, he's not even fighting. He's just
doing menial tasks.
just chatting.
Grocery store.
He will just be angry, man, won't he? This is all he
Might
ever does.
say-
It's all he's got.
When he changes into an angry man.
No, he's always been angry.
Well, you don't know. Oh, yeah.
Look at him. Don't look like that if you're not angry.
So he's always angry. And apparently in one instance in God of War 3 when he's sarcastic. I haven't seen it.
Sarcastic.
So Steve, you've not only been playing Mass Effect and sampling Trials and just living your daily life, you've also been chatting with Captain Price, haven't you?
Travelling the world again. War-torn parts of the planet. I met a hero to us all.
Oh, God. What a man. What a guy. This is World Wide Webwards.
He's got the whole world wide web woods. He's got the whole world wide web woods. He's got the whole world wide web woods, and he's playing chess with Captain Price. Hello, and welcome to the third instalment of World Wide Webwards, the popular chat show where I meet the who's who from the gaming world and find out what they've been up to outside the gaming world. Today I'm interviewing a man who knows no fear, who any sane man would follow to their guaranteed death. It's Mr. Captain John Price. Nice to meet you. I'm Stephen Edwards.
What the hell kind of name is that? How a muppet like you pass selection?
Selection? No, I'm just the only one from Ready Game 5 willing to put my mind to.
The healthy human mind doesn't wake up in the morning thinking this is its last day on Earth.
I don't wake up thinking it's my last day on Earth. Anyway, we're actually conducting this in the middle of a game of chess. How do you think the match is going so far, Captain?
They will remember us for this.
Well, it has been a good game, I'll give you that.
To know you're close to the end is a kind of freedom.
Oh, confident you've almost won, Pricey? I think what's happened so far suggests otherwise.
History is written by the victor. This is for the record.
Well, I'm glad to see you're such a serious chess player, but I'm pretty confident at the moment. I do have a lot more pieces left than you do.
Outgunned, outnumbered, out of our minds on a suicide mission. We go forward like a breath exhaled from the earth.
Your moves are miscalculated, and underestimating your enemies, your biggest mistake.
Whoa. I'm not underestimating you. I'm just pointing out that I'm closer to winning the match than you. I mean, you seem to be taking a lot of risks looking after that last pawn of yours.
We take care of our friends.
Fair enough. It's a good policy to have. Now, Mr. Captain, you're a world-famous military leader and a bloody hard bastard. But what people don't know about you is you're actually moving into movies. I hear you've got some interesting ideas to share with the world. What's the first movie you've got to share?
A Dracula gangster movie, and I play Dracula.
Oh, okay. And does that film have a name?
Christmas for the bad guys.
Ah, okay. Interesting name for a Dracula gangster movie. Any other movie ideas?
Devil's Playground, which is a zombie movie, but our zombies are different.
Okay. There definitely seems to be a monster theme to your movie ideas. Do you see yourself as something of a monster to all the people you've killed?
Well, the thing is, when you're a monster, you don't really know you're a monster, do you? I mean, my kids think I'm a monster, and I don't see myself as a monster.
That's true. This chess game is going on longer than I expected. Do you want to finish it tomorrow?
No time, sir. We need to end this war today.
Fair enough. I've just got my rook back into play.
If he's back on the grid, then so are we.
Ah, using your king as an attacking piece, are you? Interesting move.
He's about to complete the greatest trick a liar ever played on history.
Well, I don't know about that, because if I move my knight there, I think that makes it checkmate.
I'm finished. He's got me banged to rights.
Sorry, Pricey. If it was any consolation, I'm a damn fine chess player.
It's fate, an unavoidable destination on the journey of my life. Or you can say, I absolutely did not deserve that.
Well, you lost fair and square, mate. You can say you didn't deserve it, but there was no cheating involved.
Right.
Anyway, Mr. Captain John Price, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I feel we've given the listeners an inside look at the softer, chess-playing, monster movie-loving Price that very few get to witness. So this is Stephen Edwards saying goodbye to...
You're not leaving till I say so.
No, I'm actually just going to leave now, Price. It's been a pleasure.
Right then.
See ya.
This is for the boys at Hereford.
Oh, he's a barrel of laughs in that Price. He knows what he's doing.
Now we come up to the hot topic, which is endings. Since we last podcasted, The Mass Effect community were really unhappy with the ending for Mass Effect 3, which is obviously fair enough. What I don't agree with and what other people haven't agreed with is the way they've handled it. They complained, threatened, obviously abused the developers online. BioWare have announced that free DLC is coming that will expand the ending, etc. We will not be spoiling the end of Mass Effect 3. I haven't finished Mass Effect 3 yet, but you guys have, and you kind of all agree.
I don't know. Me and Chris, Loz, what's your overriding opinion of the ending?
I wouldn't have had it changed and petitioned like everyone else did, but it wasn't.
That's the objection people have. It's not what you think, but how they've gone about it.
Well, I don't know whether it's a good or bad thing that they're changing it though. I mean, everyone wanted that extra exposure, but you know.
Yeah. It's good. I thought it was going to be paid for DLC. Right. Yeah, we changed the ending.
What, the
800 points?
Well, thank God
800 points, cough it up.
That would have been hilarious.
I mean, this all kicked off before I'd got to the end of it, and I thought it was all a little bit silly. And then I got to the end, and well, I sat there confused, not quite know what to do. You have a conversation with someone, and then are left with a choice. I had no idea what just happened. I had to Google the ending to find out what these choices actually were and meant. It just, I think after 3 games, and it's got to be well over 100 hours across 3 games, it just left me feeling...
Is that it?
Yeah, is that it? A little bit empty, confused, complete lack of closure.
Empty, confused.
It was sad. Confusion. I had no idea what had happened or why it happened.
It's funny because I picked an ending which I meant to pick the other one.
Yeah, easily
it wasn't clear. Yeah,
because it's so unclear.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I mean, we're not going to, but like basically you get a situation and there's a classic thing of there's sort of a blue ending and a red ending.
Sure.
And I've learned one thing from Mass Effect: blue good, red bad. And but then I also the one I wanted to do, which I thought that's the good thing to do, obviously after what's happened in the whole game. So I picked blue, and it turned out that was actually something that, you know, it was a choice which would throughout the game was presented as the more evil thing to have done. And that was what was confusing. And then
But sometimes in life we think we're doing the good thing, but it can have dire consequences.
That obviously I mean that didn't annoy me that much. I was a bit like, well, and then when I read about it, I was like, okay, maybe I was contemplating so much between which one to pick anyway that it didn't upset me too much, that bit. But the other bits are like the fact that there's stupid plot holes in it.
There are huge plot
holes. But also,
things don't make sense.
I predominantly played Paragon, but sometimes you've got to do the option that feels right. You know, it's like,
of course.
Should we go back to the council? Fuck no, we're going to stop Sovereign. See you later. But what we're talking about here in a kind of like a grander scale is how important are endings in games. Because it's not like a movie, you've got game mechanics, and games can be, you know, anything from 10 hours to, like Chris said, 100 hours across 3 games. And isn't the journey more important than the destination?
I think so. But for some people, clearly, it's not. Because that's the whole point about Mass Effect 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's been bitching that. Like, I've read so many comments that people were saying, well, I was going to play through the game again, and now, because I know what the ending is, I cannot bring myself to do it.
Well, that's a bit extreme.
That's what people are like, isn't it?
For a trilogy, it is a very short ending when I come to think about it now.
That's true.
I think the journey is the problem with Mass Effect 3, though, because you've had such a personal journey, made all these decisions. When it comes down to it, it doesn't feel like any of it really matters.
That game could have done a Return of the King style 40-minute ending.
Yeah. I was actually just picturing that right now. Garrus.
But like, yeah, they're nothing even close to that, have they?
Get on the boat.
Yeah, it's so short.
It is really short. It's just.
Yeah. What do you think happened? I mean, what do you think they were thinking?
Well, there are theories that you can read about online about what it means in a grander scheme of things and whether there's other stuff going on. And if any of them are true, then brilliant. It's really interesting and it's a really interesting way to take it. But if at the moment you finish the game, none of that is clear to you and you just are thinking, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. So it's either really subtle with kind of allusions to like bigger events.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But if it is that, it still doesn't make sense because
there's still huge plot holes.
Yeah, there's still problems with that. So you've just got to go to theory. That's not what it is, and it is what it is. Like the ending is what you see. There's no hidden meaning behind what you know. There's no sudden dream sequences and all this kind of shit.
Like Inception, great film, good ending, and then there's just that little extra thing that makes you think, oh, maybe, and then there's just it's just there. If they'd done something like that, then brilliant.
Yep.
But there wasn't. There was all of this potential plot that people think may be there was not alluded to.
No, the very last thing you see as well. It's quite nice, but it's been done so many times before. Other things is a bit like there's nothing they get right. What they're trying to do, as a basic plot choices you have to make, and the way it's presented, and after all you've gone through is fine. It's just the biggest problem is sort of like how they don't really show any effects of what you've done, other than like one thing which is stupid, and then that's it. Isn't it? That's the problem with it. There's one thing they show which is the dumbest.
Hey, remember me from the start of Mass Effect 1? No? Well, here I am.
Exactly.
And I'm here to tell you your journey is over. Well done, Shepard.
But yeah, 3 is...
How could they get it so wrong, though, after such an epic narrative across 3 games? How could they get the ending so wrong? Do you think they deliberately left it open for DLC?
No, that can't,
well, we
that
can't,
can't be it.
Because it's the one thing it isn't, is open. You'd say that.
Yeah.
It's a conclusive ending. It's just not.
Yeah.
But like you say, there's no show of anything of what you've done from 1 to 3.
And that's the whole point of all the games, is you want finality, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, I tell you what, me and Chris, I don't know about you guys, but I love The Wire. I'd have given anything for a 4-minute montage at the end of just like everything that's happened and like how it's affecting people.
So is it fair to say that this may be one of the most important / disappointing endings in gaming history? Because we were talking about Arkham City, none of us liked. Actually, it was more the boss, but that's still tied in with the ending. Disappointing ending, because I will always remember Arkham City, great game. Ooh, disappointing ending.
I mean, because obviously we don't want to give spoilers away for Mass Effect 3. Can we give spoilers away for other games like Mass?
What games do you want to talk about?
Well, Arkham City is...
well, yeah.
They
if you don't want to get spoiled, stop listening for...
Well, okay, I'll do it in a half spoiler, half not spoiler way. They kill a main character.
What?
Sorry, main villain. And then they kill another one, and another one, in the space of about 20 minutes of the game. And any impact of like the main one dying, the main moment when you like that character dies and you're like, is worn out by the fact that you've just seen other characters die and there's no like impact whatsoever. And like the main villain in the thing dies, and then someone else is like, and I was the main villain all along. Then he dies, and then another character comes along and he's like, actually, I'm going to be the final boss. Yeah. And then he dies. And the whole point of Batman is, I thought, I don't really know enough. I thought the villains didn't ever really die. That's why.
Yeah, it was a brave ending. Because there's not been many comics that have definitively killed off characters.
No, people never die in comics, really, do they?
Even if they do, they come back in convoluted ways.
I don't know. At the end of most games, I just kind of go, oh, okay, that's the end. Move on to the next one. I'm rarely really on the edge of my seat and kind of heart pounding, going, "This is amazing." I just think a lot of developers find it hard to end their games, and why wouldn't they? It's a hard thing to do because when you put 9+ hours into a game, whether you're subconsciously doing it or not, you're thinking about how it'll end or how you want it to end or whatever. And I think a lot of the people are just disappointed because they've pictured something else. Whereas in a 2-hour film, you have less kind of time to think about.
I think the problem with the Mass Effect over every other one is there's never been like a game like it almost. Like the story is, I mean, it's a really good story. Mass Effect is quite a simple plot really all the way through, but it's so good and it's so well presented that like, because it is just, you've got to join with everyone and everyone's getting
you're
destroyed.
The good guys, there's some bad guys.
But it's so good and all your little decisions mean so much throughout the games. And in Mass Effect 3, all the decisions do come brilliantly together throughout the game.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And like, I've never played a game, like Mass Effect 3 has made the Mass Effect series right there with my favourite ever games because of that.
So if the decisions come back during the game, does it matter if they're not involved in the ending? I'm just asking questions because obviously I have.
I don't think many of them are involved in the ending though. Like if you think about stuff that happens in number 2, they sort of get finalised during the story of number 3.
And that's why the journey during 3 is so good.
It's
all these stories get wrapped up, but then the big main story, the Reapers, is the only story that gets wrapped up maybe slightly.
It's almost like the whole of 3 is an ending for what's happened in 1 and 2. Yeah. It does wrap up a lot of other things that have happened.
And that's why it's one of my favourite games of all time. Like, it was just since like the moments where like you met other characters from 2 and 3 made every character from 2 except for Jacob. Brilliant. That was what was amazing about
Fucking Jacob.
Like,
could not wait to see him die.
Because like characters I didn't really care. Like Mac was like he kept on going. I hate didn't care about Jacob. Didn't care about Morden. Blah, 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 blah.
Didn't care about Morden?
Yeah.
What about when Morden sings?
I did.
Exactly. In 3,
that was the last thing.
Morden is incredible, and he gets one of the best parts in any game.
Because I accidentally had him. He died. So don't be saying that kind of thing to me, because he's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But
last thing he did was sing, and then
the most interesting thing that happened in Loz's playthrough involved Morden. My favourite moment in the game was a Morden involved moment.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
unfortunately, we can't talk.
We can't.
Yeah,
I was going to
start the game.
I was going to redo the end of 2 again because I was very careful and I just made. I thought I was being careful, but I put stupid people in charge of the wrong missions, and Morden died, and so did Legion, which I was not happy about. But I was waiting for the patch for 3 to come so that I could import my character, no problem. And the patch is here now, and I've started, so I've got to live with what I've done. And while we're on the subject of that patch, can I just say to BioWare that I wish you hadn't changed the engine so much, because my Shepard doesn't look the same. I mean, she looks completely different 90% of the time, which is kind of not cool.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that.
But Steve's gorgeous man Shepard. I can't believe you're not a female Shepard. Steve started again in Mass Effect 1 doing
Loz
his evil.
has also done the exact same thing as me here.
But and you haven't chosen a woman, Steve.
Nor's Loz.
Why?
What? I don't see the point.
You don't see the point?
No.
Makes it more different though. Different voice actor.
But I'm
better
not
voice
female,
actor.
and I want to.
You're not a female.
This game, that's my.
It's not you though.
Well, his name's Laurence.
Laurence. That is why I didn't do it as well. Plus, I'd started at least twice before an evil female playthrough and no interest. I thought, well, this time I'll at least try male. Maybe I'll get more into it. And lo and behold, I was more into it.
I'm loving I'm so happy I picked Fem Shepard. Samus Shepard. She looks great. In 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Number 3, her face has been reconstructed after a car crash.
Just put a helmet on.
You shouldn't have to. We're going to have to spoil a few endings here. We won't spoil anything that was released in the last 6 months.
Yeah,
4 months.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's fair enough.
We'll judge
there's certain ones, it's like that thing. If you haven't played it yet,
well, you say that, but I mean, I only just recently did Mass Effect 1.
I only just finished Modern Warfare 3.
I still want to play Dead Space.
Okay, so there will be some light spoilers, but let's face it. I apologise to all 2 of our listeners.
That's true.
Steve, what other endings can you recall, just randomly off the top of your head, what that may have disappointed us, kind of upset communities? I mean, obviously nothing to the extent of this Mass Effect
I've got a few
debacle, but
a few off the top of my head. Man, sorry, I can't read my writing here. Sorry, yeah. I've written down the Mario games, all of the Mario games for endings.
Is that? Do you just mean what a surprise? Bowser's at the end of this game, and that's the end of the game.
A lot of the time, the fight against Bowser is pretty disappointing.
Yeah,
yeah. Especially the most recent ones, and the fact that in all the 3D ones, well, most of them, it's always the same fight you've done twice before, which is really stupid.
Yeah, save a ridiculously hard Bowser boss fight for the end. Don't tease it throughout the game. Yep. Just stick a really hard boss fight at the end. It'll throw a lot of new gamers, but to be honest, they need to learn the hard way because they're spoon-fed everything. Exactly. Final bosses should be difficult in the right type of game.
They still get the opportunity to, only play half the game and get to the ending due to the 60 stars shit. So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
No,
I've also...
Right. Good point.
Arkham City, obviously. Mass Effect 3, written down. Quake 1, I wrote down.
What happens at the end of Quake 1?
Do you remember Quake 1, Loz?
I never completed it.
No, I can't remember. But endings back then were very different.
It was just, here's a big monster, kill it.
Do you remember that?
No, it's dead. No, I don't.
Because Quake 1, so I love Quake 1. It's one of my favourite ever games. And the single player is vastly underrated. If it is underrated, it's brilliant. But
Shamblers.
you go through these 4 different worlds, and they're all really difficult. These shamblers and stuff, and then the final world is like really difficult. It's got like loads of shamblers, but the actual boss thing is this massive slug tree thing that sits in the middle, and it doesn't move, it doesn't hurt you, it can't do anything, and the way to kill it, there's this stupid like ball that moves around the map, and it passes through the thing, so it clips through him, and to kill it, you have to. That ball is a teleporter, and you go on a teleporter, and you have to do it when it's in the middle of him, and you gib him, you clip it, you kill him like that. What's the word when you telefrag, innit?
Telefrag?
Is that when you like teleport?
I've heard telefrag before. We'll go with telefrag.
You teleport into them when you spawn.
Oh,
you know when someone's standing
yeah.
on the spawn point and you spawn into them and they die.
Is that
you
how
have
you're
to do
supposed to do it? Or
that's how you do it. That's how you kill the final thing in Quake 1.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous. The stupidest thing I've ever seen. And like obviously at the time, like how long it takes you to figure that out. Because obviously, why would you do that?
And even back in your Quake 1 example, the formula seems to be the same. It's kind of these games kind of peak too soon. You know, excellent build up, but it peaks before the ending, which is odd. Because a lot of the times people will say, you know, in games with bosses, oh, that boss fight was a lot better / harder than the final boss fight. And even if you're not a big fan of bosses, which seems to be, you know, how everyone's going these days, still put the best bit at the end.
Yep.
I mean,
but that's down to game development, isn't it? I mean, they might not know what their best bit is until they've done it all, and it might not fit by.
Uncharted 2 is a really good example where the best bit of the game is an amazing battle on a train, and then the rest of the game is still good, but it's nowhere near the same. And if you could have just, even if you shoehorn it, I mean, the game shoehorns enough things.
Yeah.
Just put that train bit at the end of the game, and everyone's
that
saying
made sense though.
Because you could do it.
Well,
I mean, it works really. It's the best bit of the game because of the way it works in the plot. But I'm still thinking, like Chris says, when the peak of the game is halfway through the game, it is a shame.
Yeah.
And best bit doesn't necessarily mean hardest bit either.
Yeah.
A lot of games fall into the trap.
Best /
last
hard.
level, throw everything at them.
Yeah.
Make it ridiculously hard.
I mean, it's a delicate balance. Obviously, we can sit here and just kind of, you know, claim that we know all the answers, which of course we do not. We're not game developers, but I mean, I think we can definitely say where some developers may have gone wrong and what we'd like to see, you know, in the future. I mean, I think that's our job here.
Absolutely.
I think games just end, and maybe you're so used to kind of ploughing like maybe 2 hours in every night that after it ends, you for a second at least, you're like, what do I do now? Oh, that's over. You know, what happens now? And I guess
so many games, if you're loving the game, so rarely are you really satisfied at the end because you're like, it's over, so you've already got that tinge of disappointment.
But people want different things, like
and you can't please everyone.
You can break endings down to, you know, length, how long the ending is, whether it contains something that hints to a sequel. You know, the closure of the characters, or like, to be honest, I prefer they don't add stuff for the next game. Like, you know, they start the next game already at the end.
Yeah, that is annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if
leave that out
in our current climate as well.
Yeah,
companies will close and sequels might not happen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some games now, Loz, after you mentioned the whole games that leave it open for the sequel.
Yeah, well, Assassin's Creed, I suppose.
Yeah, they're
Assassin's
bastards
Creed,
doing that.
Bloody annualisable games.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be like happy that I've just finished a game and not already thinking to the next one, you know.
I think that's why I preferred, what's the most recent one? Revelations?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I preferred that to Brotherhood or
Closure.
2. Yeah. They I knew going into that was the end of the story for Altair and Ezio.
Oh, nice.
And it was. It ends well for both of them.
They get married.
Oh. But at the same time, this whole thing, I suppose, Loz, about, because you're right, but at the same time, like we've discussed before, one of our favourite endings to the game also leaves it open as much as the game ever can. Modern Warfare 2 is, if it ended there, you're like, what?
Underrated ending.
And
underrated solo.
That ending's amazing, and I mean, what do you reckon to that, Loz? Like, that game gets it right, doesn't it? The whole, look forward to the sequel.
And that was really worrying, obviously, because we didn't know what was going to happen with 3, so that was extra worrying. Sorry, Loz, go on.
No, but slightly different because it's one of my favourite games. But some games will leave it open, and I'd rather they didn't.
Is it too much to ask for games to be perfect? Closure, great gameplay, fantastic graphics. I mean, come on.
Because you could say about Modern Warfare 1 is that doesn't like say, oh, you got to have a sequel here. It does enough, and then 2 they have to do that classic thing of bigger, bolder, brasher, and all that. Like,
Louder.
Yeah, exactly.
But if the story's good enough, it'll have room for a sequel as long as everyone doesn't die or anything. But
I've got to say on the reverse side of the coin, I was very, very happy with the ending of Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah,
because
I've
that's how.
Finished that in the last week, and yeah, it's brilliant.
Obviously, it's a lot simpler, narrative-wise, than your Mass Effects, but
all the better for it.
Great ending. I mean,
even compared to Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2 was all over the place. The story was difficult to follow at best.
Yeah.
Whereas 3 is a lot more
focused.
Yeah, a lot more focused. And the ending's really good. It is.
They do. They do
really
as well
satisfying.
as they can.
That is a satisfying ending.
Yeah. It doesn't quite work the button prompts you've got to do to. Yeah.
I don't know, but that's what I like about. I've always liked about the Modern Warfare games, like when you're using the triggers to climb up a mountain. Could have just been a automated cutscene, but I quite like that. Even the teeny weeniest bit of interaction makes you feel still part of it, rather than just time to sit back and watch a cutscene.
I think unfortunately I'm comparing it to maybe the greatest quick time event of all time with the knife pulling out your chest in Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah,
because
that's great.
That's just ridiculously good. So
but surely that's topped by the first mission in Battlefield 3 when you press spacebar to go into a 2-minute long fist fight.
You remember that bit, Loz? It's like when you're crawling along.
Well, there's an ending there.
That's a poor ending.
Yeah, Loz, you were saying today that you weren't happy that Adam Jensen from Deus Ex won our worst character of the year award over Captain Blackburn.
No, I wasn't. I like Adam Jensen. I think he's cool.
Did you complete Deus Ex?
No, I haven't.
How would you explain the ending to Battlefield 3 then?
It's pretty much the start of the game.
Yeah, you replay the first level.
That's what you told me.
And then they add a little fight at the end.
Yeah.
See, for me, that's not being harsh, because obviously DICE and they know how to make an amazing game, but that an element of that's where I think the arrogance a little bit of as if their opening to the game was so brilliant that replaying it again
not a great
would be so exciting and stuff.
Oh wait a minute, it's a bit weird on the train, isn't it?
Yeah, which is so shit. When I played it, I was like, well, fortunately I know the rest of the game isn't going to be like this.
Yeah.
Well, your first thought is, oh look, a first-person shooter with a level on a train. How original.
Yeah. But
they're going to make me play that again, even better.
The problem with that is the game's so short that you could sit through one playthrough and get to that last level,
and makes even less sense than anyone else.
I don't think of that. If it's like a 40-hour game and you play the ending again to start, it'd be like, whoa, this is pretty deep.
It's about a 6-hour game.
On the subject of endings, one way to ruin endings is having bugs and glitches in them.
What happens in
the guy? Remember, I told you. So there's a crowd that surround you as you have your little fisty fight with I can't remember the villain's name, but
Captain Bad Guy.
Yeah, against Blackburn.
So Blackburn versus Captain Bad Guy.
Yeah, and you've got. I think you're in an urban city. It's crowded, loads of people around you, and one guy is standing there floating with his arms up. To add realism to the whole situation.
Brilliant.
It was. It just ruined it completely.
Reproducible?
I
threw the game away after that.
Yeah, first go, and
last.
Hilarious,
you
isn't
see that in the background, Houdini, and
David Blaine.
This ain't realistic.
Finally at the end of this game. Oh, what's that guy? No, I'm out. I'm out.
That is such a the one part of the game that should
be polished,
even more than the start shouldn't. But certainly, the one part of the game that should have no clear bugs that take you out of the moment is the ending
and
of
that's
the
what
game.
It did, yeah, you completely ruined it. Not that it was good in the first place.
Hitman Blood Money is always one of my favourite endings.
I was playing through that recently. I don't.
Well,
we can spoil that one, I think.
Yeah, we'll spoil that. So 47 dies, and there he is at his funeral.
Timothy Oliphant. No.
And the credits roll, and I know people who for a while thought, oh, that's quite an ending, and that's the end of it. But it's not. It turns out it's all a ruse, and you can come back to life, and your guns are sort of there in your chest symbolically, and you sort of pick them up and in slow motion start gunning everybody down, and
right.
Sort of
sounds different.
Yeah, it's very different. And you sort of run out, and the sort of bad guy who's thought he was the cause of your death is there, and you end up taking him out
And you play
post
it.
credits. Yeah, you play through it.
After the credits.
Well,
as the credits are rolling,
right.
you come back to life, and the credits are still rolling as you run through the church, take out all the people who gathered to enjoy the fact that it's the end of you.
That's cool.
That is awesome.
And then there's like an extra cutscene afterwards that sort of shows you going off into the sunset.
Sunset.
That is really good.
That's a proper.
That is a really original ending.
But I love the fact that some people don't know that can happen and think that it just ends with him dying.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like I remember some idiot told me that apparently some people think the ending to Portal is when you go into the fire. Because, like, obviously it just kills you, like, and realise it's an entire incredible...
it was shit in it. I just died and respawned.
Yeah, it's
Terrible.
like, oh God, it doesn't even work. What's all this song they were talking about?
You know, I really do sympathise with these developers because, you know, it used to be so straightforward. Move from left to right of the screen, kill the enemies, fight the big one at the end. Yeah. Bam, done. And now as more narrative and storytelling elements are introduced, I think a lot of them... Gaming is still new. It's still really new, and I think it's definitely early stages for telling grand stories in games. And it's no surprise to me that a lot of developers don't know how to finish them.
Do you know? I think it's very ironic about that. What you're saying there is that when games nowadays do try and do that big boss at the end, it's when the game gets most criticised. Like you think like Mass Effect 2. Loads of people were down on the
Arkham Asylum.
massive end, like the massive, suddenly over bloated enemy Reaper. Yeah, Arkham Asylum. Even Half-Life 1 got so much criticism for suddenly chucking that huge flying thing at you. Yeah. And it's weird, like you say, like back in the day, it's what it was all about. Like people go, "Oh, greatest boss, Contra or something." There'd be a huge thing at the end, which take like
shoot the yellow bits.
Yeah, but now it's like
I think
it has to be a clever ending more than a big fight, doesn't it?
And I still think we're actually in the transition phase. I think we'll start to see more satisfying endings around the corner. I think at the moment we're just in that transition phase where, like I said, developers find it hard to kind of put a full stop or period on their story.
Well, I mean, it's a very abstract example to games as a whole, but I think Journey does...
Oh my God, Journey is so amazing!
Yeah.
Have you got it, Loz?
I haven't played it.
Should get on it.
I think that shows what an ending of a game
forgot about that
should be in modern gaming. In that, in a game, it's not particularly difficult or challenging compared to the rest of the game, but in a game of amazing and beautiful things, the end is the most amazing and beautiful of all of them.
I think that's a really good point you're making there. That is the best way to end a game. Is not the most challenging or hard bit. It's just the most, like, for instance, like another game I think like you could say like that is Half-Life 2. Like, it's an incredible action game, and at the end of the game you get the coolest weapon in the whole game.
Yeah.
And you just go around having the time of your life, ripping things off walls and throwing enemies around. Like, the ending to Half-Life 2 is really easy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
But it's also
just so much
as
fun.
good as that game
Another
gets.
one, going back to it quickly, Modern Warfare 3 as well. Suddenly you're this tanked up monster Price and you just go storming through the level.
I really like that. I can't remember who made the comparison. You did it. Well, one of your friends did. The kind of end of an Arnie film.
Yeah, that was
finale to a game. Yeah, but look at the smile that just recalling the ending of Journey brought to my face.
One of the greatest endings I've ever played is Braid.
Yeah,
because it's just the most mind-bending
She doesn't
ending.
like you, mate. Stop following her.
It's the most mind-bending ending.
Okay.
It's an already sort of... It's a very strange game, and you think you kind of make sense of it, and then the very end just unravels everything that you've...
I was watching it, and as you finish the actual level, which is... It's a weird bit, because it's just a platformer with the addition that you can rewind time, isn't it?
Yeah.
The final level, and you're like... But as you watch it play back, I think everyone... You don't obviously get it instantly. It's as it's going on, you're going, wait a minute, why am I watching this? Wait, what's...
It's very clever.
I don't understand what's going on. Why is he... Oh. Basically, Loz, you're the villain for the whole game.
Oh.
The whole game you've been playing this goody...
I was just about to say,
tie-wearing...
if you want to know what Steve's talking about, go and play Braid. I was then going to reference Limbo. Limbo's ending is...
Yeah.
Ooh.
But perhaps that's the secret. Perhaps big budget AAA games are so bloated and trying to outdo themselves all the time.
Yeah,
By the time it gets to the end, there's nowhere else for them to go.
That's
Whereas
true.
these kind of 2, 3, 4 hour experiences
That's true.
do exactly what they need to do.
Yeah, because a lot of people criticise Journey's length compared to the price, and I think that's not the way to look at it. I mean, the experience you get is well worth the money.
So I saw some friends talk about it on Facebook the other day, saying, "Oh, this looks interesting, but here it's really short." And I just said, "No, it is the greatest 2 hours you will ever spend in a game."
You can make it longer if you want. Just explore more.
Yeah.
Loz, you mentioned Red Dead earlier on as an example of a fantastic ending.
Yeah, now I'm going to contradict myself because I said I'm not a fan of games that try to continue and lead to a sequel, but I quite like the ending of Red Dead.
I sure hope no zombies show up on this ranch.
Oh no, that's
It's unusual in that you think it's ended in that you kill the bad guy and everything's brilliant, and then you sort of go back to live on the ranch with your family. The whole game he spends talking about how he just wants to get back to his family, and then you actually get to do that. You think, oh, brilliant, that's a really nice ending. And then you sort of carry on playing, and you sort of your missions are go off with your son and herd some cattle for a while.
Yeah, it's an odd one, though.
And you sort of spend a little bit of time just enjoying life on the farm.
Something different.
Yeah,
something different.
And it goes on with that for a while, and then shit hits the fan. Yeah, more people.
Hey, Marston, you can't herd this here cattle. This here my cattle.
And there's an amazing moment where you have the final face-off, and you sort of send your wife and son away, and you have your final face-off, and against all odds, you go and try to stall them enough so your wife and son can get away. And
it sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you think, oh, there we go, it's ended now. And then all of a sudden, you're playing as his son, sort of 20, 30 years later or something, I think.
Yeah, that lets you carry on, doesn't it?
Then you carry on for one, there's a few more missions, and then eventually you finally, as his son, track down the person that your father wanted to kill the entire time, and you finally get that moment where you get to kill that
That's
guy.
awesome. I mean, Rockstar are becoming incredible storytellers.
Unfortunately, as amazing as that ending sounds, the only thing I can't get out of my head is the thought of playing more bloody cattle herding missions, or more missions where I've got to go and shoot 20 bad guys in a bloody mine.
Okay, so Red Dead, good example of an ending. You want to talk about Mass Effect 2 as well?
Well, I was chatting to these two guys earlier. Mass Effect 2 has a unique situation where it's one of the best endings to a game I've ever played, and also has one of the most disappointing parts to an ending.
Yeah,
all at the same
time. A big boss,
and a really disappointing big boss. Like,
yeah, I guess. Yeah,
it's a silly.
Well, we were talking
human Reaper Terminator thing. Looks a bit dumb. It's really predictable. It's got three massive, a few massive flashing points that are weak points. It's really easy.
Again, that kind of in games where those big bosses. I mean, because I'm an old school gamer, as we all here are. I think we're kind of more accepting of that kind of thing because that's what we grew up on. But modern gamers must be really confused when they get to those kind of shoot me here. Oh, now I'm doing my fan attack pattern.
Yeah, that was it basically.
You know, but it is at least it's kind of canon. You know, big monster, but it's a Reaper.
Yeah,
big monster. Oh, they've been using humans to feed the Reaper.
It's a stupid-looking Reaper.
But another thing
it did look like a Terminator.
Doesn't look like other Reapers. Like Reapers are one of the coolest-looking enemies I've ever seen.
Squids.
Like in Mass Effect 3. Whenever Reaper suddenly gets involved in the mission, just awesome. Yeah. The gameplay just picks up a notch, and it's just amazing. But that moment in 2, like I mean, you haven't played it, so I'm not going to. But there are moments in 3 gameplay involving Reapers that if they'd used that for the ending of 2, it'd been amazing.
Yeah, why you didn't just face off against a Reaper for the end of 2? Don't really know.
Just Harbinger. They barely used him in
assuming control of this.
But the other thing, what we were saying, the reason it's brilliant, the end of 2. Is just how all the choices affect an entire game you're about to play. Like, it's amazing, isn't it? Like every character can die.
Yeah.
If you haven't done the right thing, like that's really cool. Like,
and that's part of the ending. Yeah, there's a big, some may say out of place boss, but it is intertwined with cool narrative devices like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that like I said, I think that we're in a transitional period right now from the old to the new. And some developers are struggling with that transition, but also I think we have high expectations. We've all got great taste, and I think we ask a bit too much because not every game writer, screenplay writer, developer, is capable of a that game company ending or a Valve ending.
Sure.
And I think we can't always expect games to end in a really cathartic way all the time. Especially games that are more like balls out shooter, I guess all you want in a really good shooter game is to end with a gigantic explosion, really, and some tits.
Preferably.
Just a satisfying feel, that's what we want.
Yeah, nuclear explosion and tits.
Well, there you go, yeah.
They are a satisfying
that's
film.
the one.
that will trust me, that will appease the shooter demographic. Yeah, right. And then fucking the bomb exploded. Yeah. No, you never guess what, mate? What? Tits. Loads of them. Banging.
Big one.
Modern Warfare 4. That is the end of our Endings podcast. Thanks very much for listening. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook and iTunes. Twitter, it's Ready Game Fire. Facebook, look for Ready Game Fire. Please like the page. Please follow us on Twitter. On iTunes, it would be great if you could rate and review us, because that really helps little podcasts like us get noticed. So we really appreciate if you could do that. While you're there, I do urge you to check out our back catalogue of episodes. We really do make an effort to make each one unique and timeless. So please do check them out. Big thanks to the IGN UK guys having me on their podcast. That was so much fun, and we're looking forward to defending our title at Pub Quiz 2, Quiz Harder. So it's goodbye from me, goodbye from Laurence, goodbye from Chris Evans,
bye,
and goodbye from Stephen Edwards. Goodbye. We haven't ended this podcast with a song for absolutely fucking ages, and because of that, here is a song from my band. This is Record Department with Peace and Quiet. Ready to go far.
The hell out of me. Worry pours through our street and it's killing us. Please, I need sleep. I'm struggling, and why am I bothering at all? Please, I need peace and quiet, and I'm sick and tired of it all. We don't need this, we don't need this. I'll see you. Take my hopes, take my dreams, rip all the life out of me. If it'll cheer you up, but it's not